The house already had 2 bodies in it before we ever moved in. Not long-term residents. Not distant memories. 2 people, a husband and a wife, who had lived in that house, breathed in those rooms, and then died there. Weeks apart. He went first, downstairs in the basement. Heart attack. Then she fell, hit her head on an end table in the living room, and that night, she never came back home. The dark stain on the carpet? That was her. My name is not important. What matters is that in the summer of 2023, my fiancé Ryan and I moved into that house. The rent was cheap. The location was beautiful. My dad's friend owned it and was willing to let us stay month to month. On paper, it was a blessing. But I could feel something the moment I walked through the front door. Oh wait, like the air itself remembered what had happened there. Ryan laughed it off. Of course he did. He mocked the ghost sounds. He told me I was dramatic. And honestly, for the first few weeks, I started to believe him. They replaced the carpet with hardwood. They painted the walls. They even installed one of those security systems, the kind with the automated voice that announced every time a door opened. Front door open. Front door open. Annoying. But it made me feel just a little safer. Then came the weekend Ryan left for his bachelor party. Friday, July 7th. I kissed him goodbye at 7 in the morning. He'd be back Sunday afternoon. I had Rex, our cattle dog, and I told myself that was enough. I ordered Thai food, put on my comfort show, let myself relax. By midnight, I was finally starting to feel okay. That's when I heard it, a sound, coming from the basement. I told myself it was the house settling. Old houses creak. Old houses groan. That's normal. That's explainable. But then Rex ran to the basement door and started barking. Rex did not bark. That wasn't who he was. He was protective and quiet. He howled sometimes, sure. But this was sharp, rapid, aggressive barking. The kind that means something is wrong. I opened the basement door, turned on the light. Rex stopped barking and started to growl. And I just stood there, frozen at the top of the stairs. Because somewhere in the back of my mind, I remembered that's where the old man died. Right down there at the bottom of those steps. I couldn't make myself go down. I took a picture into the dark with my phone. I couldn't see anything. I shut the door and went to bed. Rex didn't sleep that night. He sat at the foot of the bed, staring at the bedroom door. Not barking, not growling, just watching. That steady, unblinking watch was somehow so much worse than the barking had been. I survived the night. Barely. The next morning, I gathered my laundry and walked to the laundry room. That's when I stopped cold. The washing machine had moved. Not a few inches. Not a small shift. This was a full-size, heavy appliance sitting nearly in the middle of the room, pulled away from the wall by several feet. I ran out. I went back. I stood there staring at it, trying to understand how. I'm not a small person, but moving it back took real effort. I should have heard it move. I was home all night. I called Ryan. He believed me, mostly, but he had a rational explanation for everything. He always did. Saturday night. Same routine. Food. Rex. The office. I was doing okay. 9:18 p.m. Something outside the house made a sound so loud I physically flinched. Even over the TV, it hit like an explosion. Seconds later, my phone lit up. Garage camera notification. I pulled up the video. The garage door was open. We never used that garage door. Never. We barely even went in there. But in the camera footage, there were flashes coming from the driveway, like fireworks. Except when I opened the door to the garage and looked out, there was nothing there. No debris, no residue, no people, nothing. I closed the garage. I checked the alarm. I checked it again and again. Rex took his post at the foot of the bed. His eyes stayed fixed on the door. I finally fell asleep sometime past midnight. At 3:39 in the morning, someone started pounding on the front door. Not knocking. Pounding. Loud, rhythmic, relentless. I couldn't move. My body just refused. Rex was locked with me in the bedroom, and I stayed in bed with my heart hammering so hard I could feel it in my throat. Then the security system spoke. Front door open. I lunged for the bedroom door and locked it. Grabbed my phone. The screen came on black. Completely black. I pressed the side button over and over. Nothing. Just a dark screen staring back at me. That's when I started to cry. Then I saw the doorknob move. I screamed. I don't even remember what I said. I called 911 and they came fast, but they found nothing. The front door was wide open. Nothing stolen. No signs of forced entry. No one in the house. The cops said it was the wind. A deadbolted door. On a humid July night. Opened by the wind. I took Rex, got in my car, and drove to my parents' house before dawn. I didn't look back. We stayed in that house 2 more months after that weekend. Nothing ever happened again. Not once. Whatever it was, whatever that weekend was, it only came for me when I was alone. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure I want to. I've always lived alone by choice. I like it. I thrive in it. But there's a specific kind of alone that isn't peaceful. The kind where you realize you were never actually alone at all. Let me explain. I lived next door to a bar. Not right next door. There was a tree line between us, but on weekends, the noise was constant. I worked retail, which meant I worked most weekends, which meant I was usually trying to sleep while people were screaming outside. Not ideal. But out of all the nights I dealt with that, one specific Saturday is the one I'll carry for the rest of my life. My best friend Layla came over for dinner. We've been close since elementary school. She was trying to set me up with someone, had been for months, and that night we left. She gave me her usual dating advice, and around 10 p.m. her girlfriend called saying she was leaving work. I walked Layla to her car. That's when I saw the group of women outside the bar. 7 or 8 of them, clearly having a good time. I wasn't paying much attention. I was about to head back inside when I noticed one of them looking in my direction. I looked around. No one else was nearby. She started waving, slowly at first, then more aggressively, like she needed me to respond. I hesitantly waved back. She blew a kiss. I smiled and went inside. She was just someone from the bar having a good night. Nothing to think twice about. Around 1:30 in the morning, there was a knock on my door. Living next to a bar, that happened occasionally. Drunk people, wrong address, whatever. I looked through the window next to the front door. No one there. Probably just someone from the bar being an idiot. I went back to my laptop. About 15 minutes later, I glanced out the window again just to put my mind at ease. No one outside, but my car's interior light was on, and the driver's side door was slightly open. I wasn't scared. Honestly, I was more annoyed than anything. This had happened before, someone from the bar poking around, nothing ever taken. I went outside, checked the back seat, locked the car, and came back inside. That's when I noticed the smell. Lavender perfume. Strong. Lingering right by the front entrance. Layla wasn't the perfume type, and the smell that specific wouldn't linger for hours. I told myself whoever had knocked was just wearing too much of it. I finished what I was doing and eventually headed to bed. I put a movie on. Started to drift off. Then I heard footsteps. Light. Rapid. Running inside the house. I sat up. I turned the movie off. I stayed completely still and listened. Then I heard laughing. A soft, feminine giggle, coming from somewhere inside my home. I shut my bedroom door, locked it, and called the police. I told them someone had broken in. While I waited, the footsteps stopped. Silence. I quietly grabbed one of my dad's golf clubs from the closet. I told myself I needed to look. I moved through the house slowly, room by room. Kitchen, living room, hallway, nothing. Then I reached the kitchen. Standing in the middle of my kitchen, facing away from me, was a small blonde woman. She was wearing a pink dress that looked old and worn. She was just standing there. Still. staring out the window. It hit me immediately. This was the same woman from the bar. Before I could move, without turning around, she said, "Hey buddy, I know you're there." Then she spun around and ran directly at me. I bolted to the bathroom, slammed the door, locked it. She knocked. She begged me to open it. She called out to me like we were old friends. When the police arrived and I came out, she was gone. The back door was wide open. She'd run out. But just outside the bathroom door, right there on the floor, was one of my kitchen knives. The bar owner confirmed everything the next day. She'd been causing trouble inside, bothering people, and he'd thrown her out. She'd been lingering outside. When he threatened to call the police, she disappeared. She had to have slipped inside when I went to check on my car. She'd been inside my house the entire time, hiding, watching, giggling, waiting. The knife tells you everything you need to know about what she was planning. I have spent most of my adult life alone, and for most of that time, I was proud of it. I built a company from nothing. I travel the world. I design interiors for people who trust me with their most personal spaces. I bought my dream home, and I never needed anyone in it. Last year, I got a roommate for the first time in my life because of what I found in my crawl space. The shuffling started a few months after I moved in. I worked from a home office, and sometimes I'd hear it, a low, brief sound, like someone sliding a box across the floor in the room above me. I ignored it at first. Then I convinced myself it was squirrels. If you've ever had squirrels in your walls, you know how they sound. That kind of skittering, scraping noise that just burrows into your focus. It made sense. I left myself notes to call someone. Never got around to it. Then one night, working past 2 a.m., I heard it again. But this time, it didn't stop. It kept going. Continuous movement. Not a quick shuffle, and then silence. Something moving, slowly and consistently, directly above my bedroom. I stood on my bed. I pressed my ear toward the ceiling. The shuffling stopped, and I heard breathing. I have a crawl space directly above my bedroom. Small, low, barely usable. I never stored anything up there. There's a pull-down string in the ceiling that releases a folding ladder. I got a chair to reach the string. I pulled the ladder down, and I climbed up. I only poked my head in, just enough to look. Dark. 2 large beams running the length of the space. Nothing visible. I came down, closed it up, went to the living room and turned on the TV because I couldn't sleep. I told myself I was scaring myself over nothing. Sometime before dawn, a sound woke me, a door creaking open. I searched the whole downstairs. Kitchen, office, hallway. Nothing. Then I went upstairs. The pull-down string for the crawl space was hanging loose. It had been secured when I closed it. Now it was dangling, and it looked like it was gently swaying. My bedroom door was almost completely shut. I always leave it open. When I pushed it open, it creaked. That was the sound that had woken me. The room looked normal. I was about to leave when I noticed something on the floor beside my bed. A small clump of dirt. I bent down to look at it, and then I heard the breathing again. From right there, right beneath me, I dropped to one knee, and I looked under my bed. A middle-aged man was lying there, completely still, staring directly up at me. I screamed and fell backward. He didn't move, but he started talking. Calm, like he knew me. "Hi, Julie. It's okay." Over and over. "It's okay. It's okay." I ran. I got to my car, drove to a 24-hour diner, and called the police from a booth while shaking so hard I could barely hold the phone. By the time officers searched my house, he was gone. But they found what he'd left behind. Empty water bottles behind one of the crawl space beams. A small pillow. He hadn't just wandered in that night. He had been living there. For weeks, maybe longer, this man had been above my bedroom while I slept. He listened to me work. He heard me walk through my house every day. He knew my name. I have a theory about who he was, an old family friend my father had to cut off years ago. Someone with a history I won't get into here. But whoever he was, he had studied my home. He had planned this. He came in through a door I didn't even know was vulnerable, made himself invisible, and waited. The locks on your doors only keep out the people who haven't already gotten in. I spent nearly a month in a motel. I came back only after installing a full surveillance system. I haven't been alone in my home since. He's still out there. I know that. Somewhere. And sometimes late at night, even now, even with someone else in the house, I find myself lying still, holding my breath, listening for the shuffling.